This is the Ponderous Brickthinker with a castle update. And the update is I'm going to continue working on the columns, especially on the Tower of Understanding, and maybe for the Tower of Fun if I figure something out by then. One of the things about the Tower of Immersion is that it has a rather long floor to ceiling height, so that I could use these heights as a column. But in the other towers, especially for the Tower of Understanding, there is a distinct 8 brick height for each level. And so I don't have the luxury of, mixing and matching all of these things. Colors, I mean. So now I need to kind of figure out what is the route this tower is going to do. And it's fine if it's different, but it could inform me as to what I'm going to be doing with the rest of the columns. If I need to be more consistent or let the Tower of Immersion be so multicolored, we'll see. The other thing is also the Tower of Immersion. There are 2 other zones that I could also work on that I did not realize in the intro. But uh, that, and I still need to work out an organization or a thought as to how to build the Tower of Fun. So this is a lot of sketching episode, but we'll see how we get through it. So it has been a while since building these, so I had some time to adjust to seeing this and just kind of, let it be absorbed as to what is the effect of all the colors and the different types of bricks what is the overall effect of it. And so here is a simple mock-up for the Tower of Understanding, the Earth level, which is going to be the bottom level. And it just speaks to me to have the rounded bricks as part of the column to be distinct. Having the 2x2 regular bricks, it doesn't really sell me on that. It's just, it doesn't seem to be as exciting as having the square and the round together. This is doable, but maybe not for this castle, maybe for another project. It's just that yeah, maybe by mixing matching the other round pieces, it can be something. Hold on. So how about this option where the medium azure is the rounded columns, and then you have the normal 2x2 bricks being the center part. That is also as interesting as having it this way rather than that way. Huh. So I see possibilities with this. It is more emphasis on the middle of the column, which is not a normal thing, but it does seem to say it places more emphasis on the middle and what that is. So in this case, it could be say this is the earth level, more dominant than having it say, for example, here, which visually is smaller than the 2x2 square bricks, but having a difference is the way to go in my eyes. So we're not going to go in this route for the rest of the towers. The next part is to see what I can do for the other levels. So that'll be water. This will be air. Yeah, and then red for fire. The reason this white is already used for the rocks, and it doesn't make sense to have rock and air be the same color. The other thing is there are transparent pieces. I'm thinking of reserving them for technology or magical artifacts, even though I have transparent pieces right there. So it is not. I'm not going in that route. So the light yellow will be for the air, and so here we go. So this is, it's pretty much straightforward. So I'm thinking for the Tower of Understanding, the new architecture is going to be especially seen on this side, and minor columns coming up on the above the staircase, so that here you'll probably see all of them stacked upon each other, and we'll see how the other ones go. So this is how it looks like with that particular color combination. Since the medium azure are combined, it's now a pattern of 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and all the way up to 2. So there is that. I'm going to assume that the floor and the ceiling supports are going to be among there, so it is going to be within the bounds of that pattern. Here, it's okay. It's not terribly exciting, but it is organized. It does indicate what the level's about. But let me try a little variation. So for the fire level, I had these close by. So the single stud rounded bricks kind of be part of the column of the capital and the base. So that way, when it's placed on top of the other ones, it has a distinct border to it. However, that also means if I do find some, the light yellow pieces will be in contact with the red. It's not a good or bad, it's just how is it going to look? So let's find out. So it is a good thing that this is still in sketch mode, because after a thorough search, I found out that I don't have single stud rounded bricks in the light yellow, only the 2x2. So let's see how it looks. So we have that there. The only drawback is for any support in terms of beams or support for the floor that's going to be above it, it is going to be of the element color, not necessarily the light azure. So I'll have to see once I actually get to the building of the floors to see what is the best route. But by having a consistent pattern, you expect the medium azure to be there and kind of hold everything together. Let me try the blue. So this one, so for the blue, I do have single stud rounded bricks, and I do kind of want to have a let me see. Okay, let me do the brown, and then let me see what to do about the boundaries. So it's a slight variation for the earth level. I put dark brown instead of the red brown that's in the middle. It does call attention to itself, but okay. Okay, so now I'm going to try a different variation in terms of removing from the middle part of the column so that there can be a medium azure between each of the color levels. So in this case, there is still going to be 8 up to here. So I remove one from here and place it there. It does make the column seem shorter because there's less of a single color next to each other. So those 3 levels right there, compared to the other ones who have 4. But let me do the same and let's see how that looks. Okay, so there we go. It's all matching the original 8-level format. And it seems okay. So that this middle medium azure between these here, this can be for the support area for the floor, and the floor will be resting on top of that. Okay, so we have that, and it's rather okay. It's not exciting as this, but it does do what the science, or sorry, the Tower of Understanding wants to do, categorize and understand it. Okay, so we have that possibility. I'll put you here. just as an example of what could be. But let me try something with the earth level. So at least for the earth level, I have already established a color system of identifying what is the rock or the stones of this area. And I combined some of them that I do have rounded bricks and plates for to create a pattern like this. Um, it's okay. The columns are not as detailed as the center part, but I kind of like how this is going. However, the height is not up to where I have been working towards. So that means the brown color is going to be on the level of the support system for the floor above. And unless I do this, and just, see how that looks, which might be okay. The other option is to have this, which is 2, and then have the capital up here have that plate so that it can be the 3. The drawback is it's going to be that I'm going to have to be careful with how the rest of the other bricks are lining up so that I don't come into this problem where it's off by a plate. Here, it can also be off by a plate if there's something going on in this level right here. It just so happened that this completes the 3 for the brick height, and so that it matches up with this. But here, it's resolved on this top level because the third brick's up, the third plate's up here. It's it's a give and take part, so I just need to see how that looks. I kind of, okay, this might work better just because this is the height where the Lego people are going to be, so that there can be, emphasis on where the Lego people are. It's it works in that regard in terms of, oh, what I'm going to be seeing. This is it, which is the eye level for the Lego people, which is to their scale and not necessarily for us humans. So the other drawback is I would need to develop a color combination for the other elements as well, which can go in so many ways. I do have dark blue and other kinds of blue. Maybe I have enough to just do an alternate blue that's not medium azure here that's also rounded. Maybe this kind of solution works where I have multiple single step bricks making up a brick level, or maybe just resolve or just rely on the 2x2 rounded bricks. But this one is growing on me. It's simple, and yet I like the colors there. I might even go to, depends if I have a dark red to put there. Let's see if I do. So it turns out I don't have a 2x2 or even a single stud rounded brick of the dark red color. But let me just see how that color looks like in this spot. Maybe it can bring something good. It does create a different feel. So from here on out, I'll be on the lookout for the rounded brick to see what I can put there. Um, but yeah, I think having a different color than the middle color, might be the better way to go. So I'll just be on the lookout for these in the future. And we'll see if another, I think the dark brown is just too strong of a color to have it there, even though I do have a few dark brown. It's just a little too dark. It doesn't relate to these right here. Okay, so for now, it'll be the brown or the reddish brown. And then when I have the opportunity, I'll really consider putting a dark red on that level. So now I'm leaning towards this. So now, eh, this one is the way to consider. So now let's see if I can make the other levels as interesting as this one right here. So for the water level, I created this column which has blue, dark turquoise, and dark azure. I have the dark azure here in between the medium azure, so that it kind of follows the same pattern as this one. I'm not sure what I'm going to replace it with once I eventually get the dark red round brick. There might be another blue color that might be available, but I'll have to keep an eye out because I currently don't have it. If I did, I'll use it. But I like how it looks. It's very watery without being overly blue of any one shade. So let me replace it with this one. So now that it is here, I could have, let's see how that looks. In terms of having a blue 2x2 round brick as the base, so that it's going to be on the floor level. Oh no, it should be not the blue, it should be dark azure. Whoops. Ah. There we go. So that this is the floor level and that's the first one there. In that case, this one should be brown on the first part of the column. Now it's a bit more clear as to where the top of the column is. It's not, and it's going to be with the two azures right there, which will probably have additional structure to it just for the formation or the support of the floors. So let me see which way would be the better way. Color combination wise, it'll be kind of difficult to do something with the air element because I'm not going to use white or grays. The the light aqua, the ones that I've been using for the hidden structure, could lend itself. And let's see. So what I do have for the color I have in mind are these single stud 2x2 round plates. They are the only ones I have right now. But I do have these single stud flower pieces. There'll be a stand-in, and this will be just a check to see how this particular color combination works. Oh, okay, so I didn't realize it, but it's an alternating pattern. That's why it kind of looks very organized. I didn't catch that when I replaced the bottom brick. But, so that leads us to this, but also what is going to be the alternating color between this light yellow and the only one that I could think of and have available is regular yellow. So we'll see how that looks with, I don't know if this part has distracted me where it breaks the pattern, but overall it can be said that it's not it's not another element. It's not earth, it's not fire, it's not water, it's its own thing. And on my preview on the camera, this almost looks white. So that could be an interesting, maybe another pastel color, but again, I don't have, let me see, this light lavender, I don't have in any round shape yet. And so this is, a possibility in terms of having maybe an alternating color or maybe the top piece there. The rarest color I have might be that capital piece. We'll find out in the future. But for right now, let's see what I can do for fire. For the fire level, here's this column. I did not have a 2x2 round plate that is of the bright orange color. I do have normal 2x2 plates. Color combination, it works. It kind of reads fire. I would probably, the yellow probably should be more, or 2x2 round brick of the bright orange, just so that it's a little bit more vibrant. But overall, it does, it does read fire. Oh, it got twisted. There we go. So this is for the Tower of Understanding. Each level has its own color combination, same pattern. And so one of the things that was kind of helpful is that just for 4 and another one, so basically 5 2x2 round bricks, 2 medium azur, and then 3 plates can get me up to here. The reason I point that out is that there, the limitations of what bricks I have available. And so I'm going to try another possibility in terms of what to put in here, just because as it turns out, I don't have all the colors I need in particular shapes. So so I do need to consider what are my options, especially since if I need to start working on the Tower of Understanding before I actually get the plates or the colors that I need. So the next one is probably going to be more of this kind of approach where it is almost random, um, so that a color can jump in and be able to fill in a gap. And so I'm probably going to follow this example of it's going to be 5 tall and then 3. So there is going to be, that will be the capital, the cap, the top of the column. So that way it's easily distinct where each level is at. Here's another variation of using the same color schemes mostly as I did with the first go around. For here, it does follow a little bit of randomness in terms of where the colors are going to be and how they're placed, the circular or the round versus the square bricks. And so for this one, you have to go around it to kind of see the entirety of it. Here, you understand that it is symmetrical on both sides or a mirror image. And so you can just see it from one side and understand what it is on the other side. So for the column that goes into the water level, it turns out I don't really have that many blues available in terms of the round and the single stud kind. So here's what I have. So that's why it's very minimalistic. On camera, this looks black, but it's actually dark blue. And again, it's symmetrical. You can see on both sides. So for the column that goes into the air level, I follow this example where I have bricks of the same color stacked to create that vertical line of, just to emphasize the verticality of the column. And I use the same color scheme as this. It's a little bit more refined than the earth level. Um, it has its pros and cons, so it is what it is. So the fire level, again, it's just the limitation of the colors that I have. And so it follows this idea to a degree. So this came about as to what bricks I have and in what colors at this moment. But also this is also being affected by what I have at the moment. However, this is more organized, clearly understood. This could use some help still in terms of what colors I have available, but if what availability is the factor, this is better organized. This has its potential, but it's still I need to work on it what as to what that potential is. But for the Tower of Understanding, this seems to be the best approach to have it organized and have a little bit of color just so that it spreads the availability issue a little bit more. I will still need to be on the lookout for certain colors and in certain shapes, but overall the look is there. But that is for the Tower of Understanding. The other towers can be different in terms of their shape. We'll see how it goes with this one. But okay, so for that one, that's for the Tower of Understanding. That's the first sketch that I like to go forward for that tower. But now let's go into the Tower of Immersion, the land level or zone, because there might be several levels within it, and I'll explain when I get there. For the Tower of Immersion, I created the sketches of the columns based on more or less this height, but they're a little bit higher. And when I go over here, they're almost to the height of the fourth level times 6. So not quite yet, but they maybe should be 24. So that way it can be an even height of zones. There, the camera was forced perspective. So that means I have some play to go a little bit higher just to make them all even. Not that they have to, but it visually can help. The other thing is because for the Tower of Understanding, they're all consistent and they're able to have their own distinct layer. Here, I might come up with something that's based on 24 and another 24. So maybe this is going to be raised up a little bit. And they're also dependent on just trying to get close to the rock, the transparencies, and then just build upwards. So let's see where this takes us. But we'll leave this here, well, more off to the side, and just try and come up with the color combinations for the land zone for the Tower of Immersion. So I created this sketch, and immediately my eyes started to see the pattern of where the medium azure pieces are. And that kind of harkened back to what I did for the Tower of Understanding, that there is a steady rhythm of where those pieces occur. So then I thought, okay, this is okay. And then so I thought, it's all right. There's only maybe 4 colors, the green, lime green, dark green, bright yellow green. So 4 colors. And the medium azure. It kind of, it's in the same family, so it's more cohesive than what the sea level was going for. So I thought, okay, maybe there's something here where I can implement a rhythm also. Let me just show the difference so that the eye sees the medium azure, can see that there is a pattern. It's easier to focus on a smaller range than the whole area going on here. And so I thought, okay, so here is where the structure is going to be, and it's going to be medium azure. It's going to be the beams or some kind of holding up the floor area. And I thought, okay, so how about 2 levels of medium azure so that one is for sure going to be seen because it's going to be part of the column. And then the higher level, the 6 brick level, it's going to be where the structure is, and it's okay if it's going to be covered up. Otherwise, this might this level might be covered when the structure comes in. So it's a more than likely it's going to be this, but it also depends on what the structure is going to look like. So let's see, just placing it here. That will be the land zone. I also mentioned that there might be different levels. Well, this is the height that I was just guessing for how high the tower should be. Not necessarily that there's going to be in this space 4 floors, but I'm thinking towards a open tower with platforms that are kind of overlooking. So there's no walls, columns, and that's the other reason why I chose columns to be the first element to focus on, because columns, it can be open here, it can be used to be the boundary between walls for the Tower of Understanding. So it is a very flexible element so that it's not, here it is what it's going to be, but it can be used in different ways. And here, what if the columns support platforms that are in the zone, each kind of representing what can be found there? And here, I'm at the basement, I'm not thinking of creating distinct platforms. It is going to be as much of the plant sea life that I have that would go there. So the coral and the other sea looking things. But that's the idea, so that in this zone, you can be in this height. And then for the land zone, you can be in this height. And then for the sky zone, let me see what color combinations I can come up with. Because medium azure, excellent sky blue, but what other ways can we do sky? Here's the sketch for the column for the sky zone. It might have too many colors, especially since we only have 4 levels of bricks to work with. It's not as cohesive. In fact, some levels do not have a color that is in the other levels. And if I can't say, let's say morning, then I have a darker azure for day, evening, and then I'll introduce a dark blue to be night, and see if that can be a little bit more refined. So here is the second sketch. It is a little bit more cleaner. The light yellow and orange go better than I expected. The dark azure kind of just, it hides. It doesn't call attention to itself. So I need to think about if that's the right color I want. It's right there and here and there. So it's too close to the medium azure maybe, but yeah. However, if without that, I'll have to find another color to incorporate into this. But it looks better with fewer colors to work with for a zone. So that means for the sea zone, I might have to reduce the number of colors, even though they were all present in the Avatar: The Way of Water movie related sets, and just in general tropical sea life that these colors can be seen in. It's just that here I had the whole width to experiment with, but now by being focused, it does help with the overall look of it. But at the same time, having too many colors kind of makes it confusing to look at. And I'll have to do some judgment calls as to what colors to exclude from that. Maybe lime green because I have it in the land zone, and maybe orange because I have it in the sky. Maybe. But let me do one of the sea levels in this format and see how it looks. By removing some of the colors and then reorganizing the column, it reads better, I think, in terms of having a select number of colors to play with and only have 4 layers of bricks to do it in, it does look a little bit more organized. The only drawback, I think it does need the lime green, because other than that, it's hard to say it's where it's a sea for some reason. Maybe the seaweed. But I think in future iterations, I think I'll introduce the lime green back into it. Um, and then, what was the other color that was taken out? Oh no, just organized it. Okay. So it is a matter of, so now it's a matter of, finding the right place for the colors and where to put it in the actual build. So now that I have this, I think I'll be ready to incorporate most of the ideas into the towers in terms of what the columns are going to look like. And now I can start thinking as to how to support the upper levels, especially since for the tower immersion, it's not going to be a flat plate throughout. It's going to be maybe half a plate for a single story so that there's more air, more places to be immersed in. We'll see how that goes. But I think this is the right direction in which to go. At least for the tower immersion. Tower of Fun, I still need to think about it. I was hoping to say that I did not use a color, but I think I used all the colors that I have available, because it's in each of the combinations that it shows up. And so I'll look again, and if there's a missing color, for sure it'll be in the Tower of Fun. So I can't go too crazy with the colors in the Tower of Fun. Otherwise, it becomes a little chaotic, and it's hard to read what's happening there. So I need to figure out, what to do with the colors for that tower, and it'll probably be a focal point in the next episode. But among other things I want to take care of in the castle. But for right now, that'll be it. This has been the Ponderous Brick Thinker. Thank you for stopping by. If you liked the episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of how this castle progresses, go ahead and sign up for notifications and subscribe. And see you next time.